Alright, new episode from My Hero Academia. We continue back where we left off last week, which Midnight died. Giganta Machia is on the run, trying to get towards where Shigaraki currently is. And Shigaraki's doing whatever the hell he's currently doing, which we later find out in the episode this week, which surprised me, because I was almost expecting something else to happen when it happened, like at the very end, but it didn't, and I actually kind of like it. I actually realized that it ended up happening. Anyways, I was almost expecting something different to happen, like I said, because, I don't know, My Hero Academia just sort of does that. It sets up expectations for something specific to happen, but then it's just like, no, we're gonna pull back a little bit and not allow that to happen. It didn't do that this week, which I'm really glad about, but, we continue back where we left off with Giganta Machia, and all of the UA students are getting prepared to try to slow him down and then hit him with some oral anesthesia, basically, where they basically just Momo creates some sort of like like I said, some sort of anesthesia where it's ingested through the mouth, and then it will just put him to sleep gradually over time, and it's supposed to be like pretty effective because it's like the purest form of this. And everyone's doing their part, everyone's doing something to try to help out in the best way that they can. And that's actually one thing that I really liked about the episode. Everyone tried to contribute in one specific way or another. Even if they didn't succeed, I'm glad that everyone tried to contribute in some way, and not only a few of them, right? Only a few of them actually properly contributed in some way that was effective. Momo kind of being like the star runner of the whole thing, because she was pretty much playing like the leadership role, and obviously because Giganta Machia is just absolutely fucking ridiculously strong, and was created by that doctor. He's kind of just ridiculously strong, and he kind of just like dismisses all of them completely, and then Dabi uses his flame quirk to be able to engulf the entire forest in a flame. And then Mina almost gets her moment in this episode where she completely engulfs herself in her acid, and then she goes through the fire and is completely impervious to any fire damage. And she's about to throw the anesthetic into Giganta Machia's mouth, but then she recognizes his voice. And I was like, okay, hold on a second. What are we doing here? And then that's when they showed the flashback that they had in, I think, season 4? I don't remember when exactly it happened. It might have been season 4, actually. It was when Mina was trying to protect their friends who were being harassed by some random guy in like the middle of the street somewhere. I don't know if he was like particularly supposed to be like a villain, but it was Giganta Machia before he had like all the experiments done on him, and Mina recognized his voice. And I don't really like this, just because it seems pretty superfluous, and it doesn't really contribute to anything besides just giving a reason as to why Mina fucked up in the first place, right? I feel like that's the only thing it really serves, is to give Mina a reason to fuck up because she got scared and remembered a past traumatic memory from her past when she was younger and before she was even in UA. And then for the fucking homie Kirishima to go like max armor form and then jump in and then swoop in to save her. And then everyone thinks he got crushed and he's potentially like super either injured or maybe even dead. No, he's perfectly fine. You know, like his hardening quirk is super durable and super strong, and he starts climbing up this dude and then throws in one of the anesthetics, all while Yusei Run is playing, by the way, which we haven't heard since like season 2, which was like what, 2017, so like 5 years ago or something. I don't know, I thought that was actually really cool, and it reminded me of a time where I used to get like really excited during like super hype moments like that. But obviously Machia just isn't fucking done, I guess, so he like transforms into a giant, like I mean, it's in the name, Machia, so he turns into like some mecha, and he like transforms in some specific way, and now he's like even more freaking ridiculous. I don't know what's gonna happen next for the UA students. They're gonna have to figure out something along with the heroes, because now all the pros are trying to go and stop Machia as well. I guess they like apprehended all the villains over at the villa. even though they probably didn't, because then they had to deal with Redestro, who was currently running on a high of like super max stress, so he's like super powerful right now as well, unless they just, I don't know, unless they did something, I don't really know what they did. But the episode soon heads back to where Midoriya and Never and Bakugo are fighting Shigaraki, and this part of the episode I really liked because it sort of enforces even more so into a lot of the nature versus nurture aspects of this show, where we have two different characters who have two different conflicting ideologies, Midoriya and Shigaraki. Shigaraki was dealt, the bad hand, where he was in an abusive family. They didn't want anything to do with heroes, and that's because the person who was the biggest hero in their family was the wielder of One for All, and she left and abandoned her family to go be a hero. But we learn later in this episode that in a flashback from Gran Torino, that she willingly left her family, yes, but she was mournful about it. She hated that she had to abandon her family, because if she didn't do that, then they would have been in the greatest of danger, because All for One is still around. He's still doing something. If she was connected to her family in any specific way, then they were only going to ever be put into more danger. So she had to stay away from them as far away as possible, which was to abandon them completely and just continue on being a hero. And Gran Torino knew this the most, because he was basically with her at all times. And he knows this. All the meanwhile, Shigaraki's talking about how, the hero society, changed the society as a whole, and they don't care about the families who are being hurt and this and that and yada yada. Basically, everything bad that happened to Shigaraki was because of the hero member and his family abandoning them and changing them the way that they are, and making it to where even after he had murdered his family and he was completely alone, nobody really wanted to help, right? The heroes weren't around to properly help and, take care of him and like give him what he needed in order to properly survive. None of the regular ass people, the civilians, were even there. They were just like, oh, one of the heroes will come around and they'll help this kid. They didn't do anything. The society left him alone, and they ruined him. They turned him into something that he shouldn't have become. And eventually, All for One officially found him one day, and now Shigaraki's currently where he is now. He's super powerful, possibly one of the strongest characters in the entire verse right now. Whereas we have Midoriya, who was originally a kid who was told that he didn't have a quirk, but eventually was found by All Might one day. All Might saw the potential aspects in him that he could potentially be one of the greatest heroes of all time, because he naturally had that heart to want to help anybody, despite the fact that he didn't have powers to help people, and he gave him All for One. And now Midoriya is the 9th wielder of One for All, and he's potentially going to be the strongest wielder of this quirk to ever exist. Two different characters with two different ideologies. One who wants to destroy what came before, and the one who wants to keep that standing and build it up to be even better than what it already was. Seeing these two fight against each other, seeing these two and their ideologies clash between one another, it's actually genuinely interesting. All the meanwhile, we have all of these pros who basically can't really do anything at all. Shigaraki's trying to go after Aizawa, because Aizawa is using his erasure quirk to get rid of decay. This dude is just so stupid strong, so Ryukyu steps in the way to try to stop his attack, but fucking goes through the hand, like literally shoves his hand through her arm or whatever, and then shoots one of the eraser bullets. By the way, I also want to point out that Shigaraki stopped Deku's 100% attack with just his fucking mouth, which was actually kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, Aizawa gets hit by one of the eraser bullets that Overhaul created in season 4, and Aizawa is no longer a quirk user. He has lost the ability to be able to use erasure, and now Shigaraki's going to be at his strongest. He has access to decay. He can basically one-shot anybody just by fucking touching them. He can wipe out more of the city, so the civilians who still haven't properly fully evacuated and are super far away from the city are now even more in danger, along with all the other pros. This guy is a threat. This guy is a massive threat. Deku's gonna have to pull out all the stops to be able to do something, just to be able to at least slow him down, maybe even stop him potentially. But the next episode's not going to really focus on that aspect, where those two are going to be fighting each other. The next episode will actually titles Bakugo being the main forefront of the episode, which he kind of needs, to be honest. And I'm kind of expecting, hopefully, something cool to happen with him. And yeah, because it's been a while. I said this in my short on my least favorite characters. Bakugo is only my least favorite character just because I see a lot of potential within his character for him to grow and change and be a better character than what he was, but he hasn't really had time to really show off any of his development in any way specifically. So hopefully we get enough of that in this episode for me to start maybe changing my mind. I just want something cool to happen to his character to where he isn't just the same shit-eating little fucker anymore. I don't know. Anyways, that's all I really have to say. This episode was really fucking good, right? So that's all I really wanted to say. It was good. Go watch it. I spoiled some people on Twitter, so I feel kind of bad about that. But anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode review. If you liked the video, be sure to like, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Go check out my last video because it was hilarious what ended up happening. It was hilarious to talk about. But yeah, I'll see you guys next one. I'm out. Peace.